So let's start with your dad. How's your relationship with him growing up? You said he was really strict.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people that have either Caribbean parents, that if you're the first generation of being a citizen of the U.S. and your family from like African parents, Caribbean parents, people that I met, Jamaican parents, Haitian, they all pretty much got the same story. Your parents are very, very motivated to have you succeed, especially in school.
Okay.
So there was no slacking when it came to being, disciplined about doing your schoolwork. If I ever, all right, let me tell you this. I went to public school for kindergarten. I got in trouble one time, and I was in Catholic school.
Got it.
Because I think my
you got one little fight and your mom got scared.
That's basically, I think, what happened. I never, confirmed this.
Right.
But I remember getting in trouble, and I remember we was looking, we were touring the Catholic school, ended up going to, the next week. So I think, yeah. And then my sister, when she grew up, she was cutting class, not going to school, coming home with failing grades.
Right.
So as soon as that happened, my dad was like, oh, fuck that.
Right.
Excuse my language. He was like, nope, taking you here. So, and I think it was based off of, my sister being so bad growing up.
Right.
My older sister wasn't bad at all. She went to public schools and graduated and all of that. It wasn't a problem. But the middle child, her and her friends, man, they ran the streets.
Okay. Got it.
But so my dad was more like, on top of raising my sister and seeing what she went through with her schooling, he was already motivated to have me succeed, being that he's from, another country, coming here, just got his citizenship. So most people that had that situation with their parents had the same story I got, that I talked to or met. It's like, you going to school and that's it. And if you don't do your homework, as soon as you get home, you get in trouble.
Right.
And let me find out you cut class. It was like, cutting class that wasn't even a thought in my mind. Because I knew, I went to Catholic school, so we used to have this thing called, what was it called? It was like detention.
Okay.
But it wasn't called that. But anyway, every day they give you a happy face or a sad face for the day. Like, if you did something bad, you get a sad face. Okay. Every day, your parent had to sign that book. Every single day. So if you got a sad face, I was getting in trouble. Like, you get a sad face just for, I don't know, just misbehaving in class, just not paying attention and talking back to something. If I had one of them, I was in trouble. It was like, oh my God. Right. Let alone suspended.
Right.
All of that type of stuff. So it was no.
Always tension.
I remember in first grade, I had got suspended. I didn't even really get suspended, but the teacher said I did.
Okay.
But I really didn't. They just made me believe it. I didn't want to walk home. Because I walked home with a bunch of people that lived on my block, and one of the ladies worked at the school. So she walked us all home. Her daughter was ended up, you call her a god sister. She passed away years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
I remember walking home, and I didn't want to go home because they was I got suspended. And then when I got home, I didn't want to talk. They knew something had happened, but I didn't want to tell them what happened. And they remember asking me. I remember them asking me what happened. I remember I can't tell you, I'm gonna get in trouble. And then this happened because the teacher was like, next person making noise getting suspended.
Yeah, I remember those days.
And my homie John, you might know John. He went to Temple.
Okay.
John McCoy. He from Philly. Dark-skinned dude, had a beard the whole time.
Okay.
Did he play football? You probably. I'll show a picture later. Okay. He was in my class in first grade. He was making faces at everybody at the table, and I chuckled. And the teacher was like, "You're suspended. Go to the office." So I didn't. They did suspend me though.
Right.
But I thought I got suspended. Oh my god! And this like I was like 6 years old.
Okay.
Like the whole concept of getting in trouble was in my brain at that age that I wasn't doing nothing to get in trouble because I knew my dad wasn't having it.
Got it.
And that was all the way up till shoot I done moved out. I'm a grown man. I'm like 27 years old at this point, and my dad would call my name, and there's a certain way he calls my name. I'd be like, oh, shit.
Right.
What did I do? Did I leave the windows unlocked? Did I leave the door? Wait a minute. I'm grown. I don't even live here no more. What could he be mad at me for? And then find out he ain't wasn't even mad. It's just the way I called my name.
Right.
Like, when I was a kid, I just knew. And I had, I had ADD to the core. My dad would tell me to do something, and I'd go do it, and I'm forgetting and doing something else. 5 hours later, it ain't done. So he yelling at me for all kind of stuff. So yeah, that whole
dynamic.
It was crazy. And then my mom had multiple sclerosis.
Okay, what's your mom's name, by the way?
Teresa.
Shout out to Miss Teresa.
So
your mom had multiple sclerosis back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
They diagnosed her before I was born. So they knew.
Oh, back in the 70s.
Yeah.
When there wasn't a lot of medicine or technological advancements.
Nope.
Back then.
They didn't know. They didn't know what caused it. It could affect you different ways. They knew.
Some people it takes their legs.
Yeah. It takes their legs. They knew that's what was happening to her. She was having nerve problems.
Okay.
Even the way how she moves her hands and arms was affected, but it mainly she couldn't walk. By the time I was like 9 to 10, she was totally in a wheelchair. When I was younger, she had a wheelchair from as long as I could remember.
Okay.
But she can get up and walk, use a walker, or hold on to like the wall.
So you physically saw your mom walk before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. But not normally walk as how we walk. But she was up, moving around without,
right.
Without using a wheelchair. She actually could get up. But by the time I was like 12, she couldn't do that no more. So we had to carry her, pick her up, take her wherever she needed. She was hungry. Yeah, go downstairs, make her a plate, throw it in the microwave. She wanted you to. My mom smoked too, so later on, when I was like in my late teens, 20s, she had trouble lighting her cigarette, so I had to come light a cigarette. She can still do it sometimes, but the light, you know how if you smoke, your lighters don't work right, or
right.
I mean, certain lighters are easier than others, so it was To me, though, growing up in that household, it was normal life.
Right.
So I didn't think of it as anything special. I knew that my mom was different from everybody else's mom, and I knew that other kids didn't have to do the stuff I had to do. But I didn't think it was that different until I got older and looked back on it, and then even growing up, I would get this look from other people, other adults. Like, they always had this, they always looked at me like I was doing something special by just living at home with my mom, to me. But they was always telling me how good of a kid I was for what I'm doing, or they thought I was just so great of a child. I'm like, I just live at home.
Right.
Like my mom asked me to piss on what I'm supposed to say. No, like, don't other kids gotta do stuff for their mom when they live at home? But it's
amazing what is normal to every single person based on what they grew up around. Right.
It didn't hit me to the extent of how my life was different than other kids my age, because I knew it was, but it just didn't register that it was that big of a deal.
So that dynamic, when you got older, what did that make you like value or appreciate?
That definitely affected how I look at life in general. That, my mom and dad, the whole situation of growing up in that household, because one, when you live with somebody that can't do for themselves,
Okay.
you value just the fact that you're able to do for yourself. So to me, that's like, once I got a car, I could literally go anywhere I wanted to go and do anything I wanted to do. So that to me is like total happiness, in a nutshell.
Okay.
So it's like, when you're able to just do for yourself without needing nobody for help for anything, that's like gold. You know what
Priceless.
I mean? Yeah.
Got
People don't have a lot. I mean, my mom didn't have that, and I grew up watching that since I was born.
Right.
So it gives me a different look on. Like, I'm real laid back, and I think that's probably why, because I don't let nothing really bother me, because at the end of the day, it's nothing that serious to me. Like, even at work, people getting stressed out at work over dumb shit to me. Like, at the end of the day, I'm going home at 5 o'clock.
Right.
And I'm not thinking about none of this.
Now you're going home at 5 o'clock to your children. Do you eventually became a parent?
Yeah, I just had a son. He be 9 months, I think, in about 9 days.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
So with that being said, is this your first and only child?
First and only
so
child.
far.
So far. I'm gonna be one and done, man.
So you know who your parents were.
Uh-huh.
You know how they raised you because you were there.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? And your son is only 8 months, about to be 9 months. What would you say? It's a tough question to ask to you. Are going to be some similarities and differences between your parents' parenting style and yours? Or is it too soon to ask? Is it too soon to ask that question?
It's kind of too soon, but let me answer it this way. It's kind of like you don't really know how you want to act until you're in that situation.
Right,
like
right.
You think,
right.
I think I'm going to be this way.
Right. You watch a movie, you see somebody get stolen, you're like, yo, I would have aired him.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have beat Debo ass.
Yeah.
You would have whooped Debo ass? Like, yo, you would have tucked your chain in like everybody else.
You hear people talk about slavery, like, man, if that was me, I'd have just...
Right.
Yeah, okay.
First dude off the ship said that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir, master.
Like, you think you would have did that.
Right.
But
you wouldn't have picked no cotton, huh? You wouldn't have been alive.
it's like, I think... So, I know growing up, my relationship with my dad, I don't want to say it was a bad relationship. It wasn't a bad relationship.
Okay.
But it was... He definitely wasn't my friend.
Got it.
You know what I mean? He was definitely my father.
Okay.
He wasn't trying to be my friend, even though we did things, we played catch, and when I was younger, especially, we played around a lot, as you would. But growing up, teenage years, he was definitely more of a father than a friend. And I kind of wish, looking back on it, we had more of a friendship bond than a father-son bond.
Okay. Why?
Because we didn't really talk about things. We didn't, things like, most of our conversations was him giving me fatherly advice of, this is what you should do, this is how you should be, picking a career, these are the things you should look for, this is how you should treat people. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, I couldn't come to him with like friendly conversations. Not that I couldn't, I just didn't feel that connection with him that I wish I felt now that I'm older. Both my parents passed away, by the way.
Sorry to hear that. Condolences.
So with my son, one of the things I wanted to have a son. I wanted to have kids in general, but I wanted to have a son specifically just because I'm always in my memories about growing up. That's one thing I wanted to do this video.
Appreciate you.
Because I'm always, with my homies growing up, we always talking about and reminiscing about things we did as kids, or how we grew up, stuff like that. So having a son is almost like I get to relive my childhood. At least in my mind.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, you know what I mean? So I definitely wish growing up with my parents and the things I went through is good and bad. And I think I learned from, and I want to not do the things I didn't like and do the things I did like from, being raised by my parents.
Got it.
For example, my dad definitely had a quick temper.
Okay.
And he swung first and asked questions later. Like I got hit for stuff I didn't do plenty of times.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world.
Because he thought, you know what I mean? And
you
then
you know what my dad said? He was like, if I ever beat you for something you didn't do, just think of it as, my dad literally said this, just think of it as something that you did that I didn't know about. That that was his thing. It's like, it's something you did I don't know about that I'm beating you for.
Yeah. I mean, I never got a real beating for something I didn't do.
Which is pretty abusive. You get beat for something that you did not do.
I remember one time specifically, my dad thought I didn't wash my hands. I didn't dry my hands after I washed them.
Really?
Yeah, he slapped the shit out of me. Because he kept saying, dry your hands. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I didn't even wash my hands. I just turned the water on to do something.
Right.
I was probably like 9 out of 10. And he was like, you ain't dry your hands? Whack. I'm like, I ain't wash my hands. Like, what you, I didn't even know what you're talking about. But, yeah, so I definitely don't want to be that. And I don't want to be quick-tempered. And that kind of affected me now. Like I told you, I'm real laid back.
Right.
I don't get pissed off easy. My dad had a quick fuse. Like, he'll be happy 1 minute and
on 100 the next.
Yeah, like I am not that guy.
Okay.
But having a kid, I don't know. I might be that guy. It just ain't come out because I don't.
Well, you got to catch yourself, right?
Yeah,
it'll happen, and you got to catch yourself.
But I don't know. My son ain't that old yet.
Right.
He's at the point now where I'm just mad. He doesn't really understand when I say stop. He looks at me like 5 minutes later, because he likes to crawl in places he's not supposed to go. He probably won't start walking by next week. He's standing up by himself.
Okay.
And he'll fall after but he gets longer and longer.
Right.
But that affected me,
So speaking of that, I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
And then my mom, just valuing freedom, the ability to do for yourself.
Got it.